what have we learned from the second Trump administration, who seems to be making decisions, blowing through both laws, norms, processes, etc., about the capacity of government to make decisions quickly when it's willing to?
Well, I think we don't know exactly what we've learned, right? You're absolutely right that he is blowing through norms and making decisions that it seems he may not be able to make. And we're in the early stages, so that the courts, in many cases, are probably going to strike down things that are clearly unconstitutional, that things that the Congress has not authorized him to do. We've got a whole bunch of bumps in the road here. So I think there are two things here. One, I want to say, like, the progressive response to Doge has too often been to be reflexively against anything Elon Musk did. And I don't think that's not me endorsing what he's done, but when he asked everyone in the federal workforce to justify what they've done over the course of the last week, like, that's actually a pretty reasonable request that people on the public who are living off the public dime should be able to report in, like, what they've accomplished over the course of the previous 7 days. Like most people in the private sector have to do that. And, like, maybe it's not the most expeditious use of their time. And certainly it was not done in the spirit of wanting to necessarily improve the government, right? It was done as the pretense is, I'm going to fire you. But, like, most people in the private sector are accustomed to having to justify their employment to their employer, right? Like, if you're if you're working at a body shop and you haven't actually fixed the cars that have come in and that are on your line, like, you're not going to come back the next week, right? And the same mentality should apply even if you're a federal worker and you've got various civil service protections. Like, the notion that you were there to serve the public and that you need to justify, like, Democrats and progressives shouldn't be against that as a notion. So, like, there are certain things that Doge did that were beyond the pale, but, like, the spirit of wanting to reform government, to make government more efficient, to make it more effective, to get it going, to move it so that it is accomplishing things rather than just being obsessed in process, like, that should be our perspective on these things. The sort of notion that we should be reflexively against reform of government, like, that's politically dangerous and, like, not wise. The second thing I'd say about what we've learned from the second Trump administration is that when government doesn't work, progressives come out behind, right? That the fundamental fact is, like, there's been innumerable op-eds and arguments and comments online about why Democrats lost the 2024 election. And, like, I'm sure it's a combination of lots of things. But fundamentally, if government doesn't work and Democrats are the party of government, like, that's a tough political road to hoe, right, for us. And so I understand that, like, we want to talk about the outrageous things that Trump's done, or the way he's abused government and autocracy and the end of democracy and racism and xenophobia and all the things that are coming. But, like, fundamentally, if government was working in a way that satisfied citizens, they wouldn't be so inclined to vote for this maniac, right?
Yeah.
He is responding to a public disgust with the institutions of government. And it is our job to deliver to people a government that they like, trust, understand, like, and I think fundamentally understand that the government is going to have to make tough decisions. We shouldn't be afraid of those. So the fundamental lesson that I take from these first few weeks is, if we don't get our ducks in a row, people are going to look elsewhere for solutions, and they've looked to Trump. This has been his public profile for well before the presidency. Like, when he was just a developer in New York, he played the same game, fixing things where government wasn't performing. I tell a story about a skating rink in the book, but, like, I want Democrats, like, to the degree that this is a podcast that reaches Democrats and Democratic elected officials, if we're not creating government that serves in a way that people like, we're going to get more Trump-like figures. Like this, like Trump, we are to a large degree culpable for the Trump phenomenon because we have not delivered.